We sound too happy for such a fucked such a fucked episode.
Yeah. Let's go.
Take it easy.
Am I living? Oh, what a funny thing to say.
Let's go. No, I feel it.
But your mama always said, look up into the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day. Your mama always said, look up into the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day. Your mama always said, look up into the sky.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Monday morning, another new episode of Livin podcast with myself, Nancy Timpano.
I'm Vince Fusco. Glad you're here.
Yes.
Now, look, I laughed as soon as you started that because we were going for bad mood. But you were
we're not going for it. I was kind of smirking because we've been together. Normally we walk in to recording session, 10-minute chat, make a cup of tea, and we're recording.
Yeah.
Today we've probably been chatting for a good hour and a half because we're trying to like rev ourselves up to do an episode because we're both in a bit of a slump today.
Not even a slump. I just feel like I'm in a mood.
I am. Me too, though.
Do you I have days where, and it's probably something we don't talk about too much because everyone always says you're so positive all the time.
I know. So
and it's great. I like to be positive.
But we're also real, and we have days like this.
Yeah. But
you know,
when I get in a mood, I have trouble sometimes, and this sounds crazy, doesn't it? I have trouble getting myself out of it. Sometimes I'll do everything. I'll go for a run.
Yeah.
I'll go sit outside.
Yep.
I'll ground myself on the grass.
Yeah.
I'll have a shower. I'll play with kids. I'll try everything and I still can't shake the mood.
And that's a bit what I'm like today. And when I'm talking to people, because, you know, thankfully nowadays I talk about it when I'm in a mood more often, whereas back in the day I used to, you know, withhold all that inside.
Yeah.
But now I've gotten to, you know, to this morning even driving up here, I've spoken to a couple of people and everything they try and suggest, I'm in that mood that I've got a rebuttal.
But is your rebuttal one of like, I don't need the help, I don't want the help?
Definitely not. They're like, oh, maybe it's because, and I'm like, yeah, but.
Or is it the rebuttal? You know which ones I hate where it's like, why don't you try this? And it's like, I've done that. Why don't you try this? I've done that. When you have done everything and you've tried it all, and then that's the only advice coming at you as well. You're like, I've tried it all.
I know. So what'd you say? We were bad mood bears today.
I said we should just do it. We should just get on the mic and do an episode called Bad Mood Bears, which is what I say when I'm in a bad mood. I'm a bad mood bear.
Yeah.
And I just figure like it's a change of gears for us.
It is.
We don't, you know. But the other thing is that we also are a show about the things that we all think and the things that we maybe don't say out loud.
That's right.
The things that annoy us internally, or the things you talk about with your close friends where you're like, oh, that person's the worst.
Yeah.
Or that situation really cut me because this happened, that happened, this happened. So I think for us to at least acknowledge that we're not always as happy as you think.
No, that's right.
We are real. We have days just like everyone else where we're tired. I'm actually, okay, well now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm doing the math. It makes sense. We've had a massive weekend.
Yeah.
We've actually had one of the biggest weekends we've had in ages.
Yeah.
Where we had like 3 late nights in a row.
Yep.
The kids are absolutely upside down this morning.
Yeah.
Like getting them out of bed for school this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I get it. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm like, I can actually probably understand why I'm feeling a bit cranky.
And
today.
probably the same, but yeah, we'll go back to our motto of Livin, which is, you know, Livin is about the conversations and the thoughts that you think about but don't always speak about.
True.
That's what we're about. And what we love about this is sometimes when someone says, you know, what's Livin about? I'll just drop in an episode topic that we've covered in the past. And I'll literally just go, oh, you know, like, for example, you know, when you go to someone's house and when you take a bottle of wine, do you open it? Don't you open it? I love talking about that because that's all I say, and then I just stand back and listen, and then and the conversation
it just goes
starts.
from there, doesn't it? Yeah.
And so I do love every time I give someone one of our conversation topics. That's exactly what it does. It creates conversation.
100%. So what do you find gets you in a bad mood? So I mentioned then like I get tired. If I'm tired, I do get cranky. Actually, when I spoke to you on the weekend, I was in a mood.
Yeah.
And I I apologized to you, didn't I? I even sent you a message straight away being like, Nance, I'm sorry if that reads incorrectly.
Yeah, no.
I'm in a mood.
I know.
My messages are not normally that short.
But you owned it. Like, as
always.
You know what I mean?
Owned it. Another great episode.
No. We do own it. But no, I'm like that.
And I said
well
to you
sometimes.
that even that day, Joya said to me, she was like, you need to take it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, I can tell you're just cranky. Like, you're cranky and you're not communicating correctly. You're being short with the kids. Like, you're just giving one-word answers. And I was like, and then I looked at that message that I sent you as well in response to that conversation we were having. And I was like, oh, he's short, this bloke. Who is he?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Lord Farquaad.
Yeah. Okay.
No, as in he's short. You know, in Shrek.
Oh, okay.
Lord Farquaad. No.
God. Oh,
Shrek fans out there rejoicing.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Sometimes I think, so I look at myself and I go, you know what? If I really want to own this on the Livin podcast today, I'm going to be outward and say, sometimes I think hormones for me.
Yeah. Fair.
Could be. That's what's going on at the moment. And sometimes, well, a lot of the time, it's two things probably for me. Expectation. I probably have too much of an expectation of others because, I don't know, you treat others like you want to be treated.
Makes sense.
And when it doesn't happen, I get the other word, that famous word, disappointed.
Yeah. But, okay, so like with that, and I feel like you and I have talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Probably like both on the podcast and privately. But we definitely have standards, right, of how we show up.
Yeah.
Of how we show up in the world.
100% minimum.
Minimum. If you're going to be here, be here.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, do it.
Yeah. Give it your all.
Give it your all.
And we do.
And if it doesn't come off the way you expected, that's okay, as long as you gave it your all, right? But I think it's the expectation that because we roll like that, because you operate like that, you then assume, and I've said it before, I assume that everyone in their head is like, oh, I just want to do the right thing by that person.
Yeah.
I assume that that's how everyone thinks. They don't.
No, they
So
don't.
I think when your expectations are not met, it is disappointing.
Yeah.
But that's where I think I've probably become better at it over the last 5 years or more. That ability to step back. And look, it does affect me some days.
Yeah.
But the ability to step back and go, has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
The way that those people are behaving, their choices, their actions, their thoughts, their intentions has nothing to do with me. Has it not benefited me? Has it impacted me? Yes. Does that suck? Yes.
Yeah.
If I voice it, and I've been told many times, my moral compass is the strongest moral compass.
Me too.
And I have a big problem
100%.
I have a huge problem with injustice.
Yes.
A huge problem on any scale.
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with moral injustice.
Yes.
And that's something that, again, I've had to learn to like, okay, step back, remove myself because it would just drain me.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. And we've spoken about this before. We don't, when I don't give with the purpose of wanting something in return every single time. But what sometimes happens is when you just give and give and give and give, and it could be different circles that you're doing. So that person doesn't know that you've just given to that person, and that person doesn't know that you've done that. And I get that. That's not nobody's fault but my own. But sometimes when it just weighs up and you think, wow, just once, maybe it will, I don't know.
But that's where, again, I think there is an expectation that you need to address
100%
in ourselves where 100%. It's like, just because I'm willing to give all the time.
I know.
It's nice to be thought of.
It is. And sometimes you got to set boundaries. Sometimes it's like, give, but then set your boundaries and maybe set yourself up and realise that maybe you won't get that in return.
Yeah. And be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like you say, it probably does stem back from just being tired at the minute. We've been, working really, really hard. We have, and very, very proud of us. Very, very proud of us.
Somebody said to me the other day, I can't believe you guys are self-produced. They thought that we had a production team.
No.
And you know what it is? It's because we talk about the people that help us. We talk about the nachos.
Yes.
We talk about the go-beyonds. We talk about all of the people that have helped us on camera, off camera, on audio,
Yeah.
And so I think it can give an illusion of a bigger team.
Yeah.
But the Livin team
is us. It's you and me.
We're the chief marketers, chief script writers, chief editors.
And something the other day that someone said they couldn't believe, and I couldn't believe they thought that.
What?
They said, and I don't even know if I've mentioned this to you, Someone said to me, I'm trying to think, I think it was, I don't know, it could have been someone of influence, but who cares, so to speak, because it's not about, shouting out big names and all of that. They couldn't believe that we do not script our episodes. And I said,
really?
And they said, so what happens? You get together and you say, you're going to say this, you're going to say that. And I was like, oh no, my friend.
Have you not listened to the show?
We have a conversation topic and then from then on it's organic. You hit
Just
record.
go. Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, but how do you know not to speak over the other person? Well, sometimes we do. But I said, absolutely not. Absolutely nothing is scripted in this show. I think I've got one word on this page.
I don't even
and
have a
that's
notebook
in case,
with me.
Yeah, so nothing.
I think the fun thing with that is we've got a note. We have lots of notes that we share, voice notes, written notes and whatnot. And we put them all in our phone. Yeah. And then we film with the phones. Yeah. So we're sitting here like idiots. I remember that day we were like, well, where's our notes? And then we're like,
they're on the phone.
On the phone. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's the thing that makes this fun for us as well.
And real.
Because it's dynamic, it's organic.
Yeah.
And it is a very real friendship.
Sound like a fertilizer. We're dynamic and organic. I feel like we're a fertilizer.
No weeds here. Just lush green
we
grass.
sometimes do come across weeds.
Oh, look, I do some days. But I feel like that's one of those, the grass is greener.
Yeah.
But the grass is greener where you water it. So we can be more dynamic and organic and have a lush green pasture here, which we've got. But it's because it's also built on 16 years plus.
I know.
Oh, my God. I say 16 years because I just frame it from Royal Show years.
Yeah.
But it's far more than that
because
that's the amount of time we haven't been there already. But, 20 years of friendship.
I know.
That it's built on. That's why I think if we scripted it, it wouldn't be us.
It absolutely wouldn't work. It absolutely would not work.
Even when we script it, I think we stuff up more with scripts sometimes because we get in our heads too much.
Yes, exactly
We can deliver exactly what needs to be delivered.
Yes.
But if you're going to lock us into this, and this, I think sometimes that can cause.
I know. I do that when I'm MC and it's weird because sometimes I hate the ones that go, oh, you know what to do. And it's like, no.
Give me direction.
You need to give me direction and all of that because, I can only be as good as the planning that went into it. Yeah. But then on the other hand, when I'm given a script and they want it word for word for word for word, I'm like, oh, it's not really Nancy.
I think it depends on the job.
Yeah, it does.
For me, it's a job thing. If it's a script, like a radio
If it's a
ad
script, I can, that's different.
Yeah.
But if I'm emceeing and I've got people in front of me, sometimes I just like to add a little bit of Nance.
Got to have a bit of Nance. But that's what sets everybody apart. It's that individual flavour.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
That we all need to go, what is it that I bring? What's my unique offering here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It could be something you're good at. If it's something that you're not good at, let's go practice that and be good at it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm in a mood, right? And we've owned it. But I don't know why. Now you haven't even spoken about it. But now I'm thinking, hang on, these little thoughts in my head are getting me out of my mood already.
Good.
Because I had a couple of text messages recently. One was friend of the show, almost I'd say family member of the show, or she's for me. MLC, Design Studio, Rachel.
Yes.
She sent me a message recently that literally had me bawling my eyes out.
It's not what I expected you to say.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so now when I'm probably, I don't know, somehow it's just come into my head. I'm in a mood and I'm thinking, nah, it's those moments that Rach sent me this message. And I don't know if I could bring it up maybe. Okay. I might read it out in a second. And then following on from that, I got another message from someone. I think I screenshot that one and sent it to you, or I read it out to you, and that got me bawling. And maybe I think we're waiting for some expectation or acknowledgement or whatever, but I'm forgetting those are the things that, wow, they hit deep.
It's like when you sort of like being a parent, you wait for your kid to say thanks.
Yeah.
And it's not in the thanks that they give.
No,
that's
right.
not the payoff. The payoff is the unexpected cuddle where they then say, you're the best dad in the whole world.
Yeah.
I love you so much. The unexpected one of those between Bluey episodes, or just, walking to the shop or walking to the park and they just look up and give you that moment. That's the little recognition that is the payoff, not the thank yous.
Yeah,
all
that's
the
right.
time. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
It's like expecting them to realize how much we do for them.
Yeah.
Children, Leonardo, Roman, one day you're going to listen to this and you're going to think, how did the house always stay so
I know.
well looked after in every
Yeah.
way? It was your mum
Yeah.
and your dad.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, just you saying that reminded me that, you know, I don't know if you do it, even like when we're not house hunting, but there's an open inspection and
I
we're
love
driving
it.
past.
No, let's go.
Pull over.
Pull over.
All of a sudden, we're looking at a house.
Definitely.
And
Do you picture yourself in it? I do that. I'll be like, oh, I'd set this up differently.
We went to an open inspection on the weekend. We went away for the weekend and there was an open inspection with, let's go check it out. And let's just say this was a knockdown job or a home renovator's dream because you walked in and you really needed an imagination.
Okay.
And Jaden walked in and he was like, Mum, get me out of here. He hated it because obviously it wasn't the cleanest.
Oh, no.
It was bit scary, really. And when we got in the car, there was that appreciation of what he's got
I love it.
at home. The fact that things are, you know, they might not be, you know, the best in the world, but it's in order. It's, you know, all of that stuff. And following on from your saying you're waiting for the thank you, it's moments like that that you're getting the thank you. And now I'm reading, I did find the message that Rach sent me, and it's not going to mean anything to anyone, but this is probably...
Well, it might. I know that you say that it won't, but it might because someone else might recognise the intention behind it. It might not be the words, but it might be the intention. Let's hear it.
Following on from, you know, putting in some hard work, Rachel, what'd she say to me? What'd she say? So proud of you for what you accomplished yesterday. Forever one of my biggest idols. I love you so much.
Oh, no wonder you were dying. No wonder you bawled your eyes out.
I bawled my eyes out.
You would have.
Firstly, because I didn't know that about my
100%.
niece.
Oh, yeah.
Rachel's my niece. I've called out MLC Design. I haven't always called out the fact that she's my niece because I don't want that to distract that she's also a business owner.
And a bloody good one.
And a supporter.
Yeah.
And a hard worker.
Yeah.
And she's my niece. And so getting messages like that. So again, we had an episode that, you know, has just come out not long ago about affirmations and getting people out of a mood. And sometimes now getting myself out of my mood, I could have just gone back to messages like this.
Yeah.
And it probably would have got me in a better mood before I even got here today because I was second guessing, what I'm doing sometimes. I second guess.
And I think you're not the only one who does that. I do that.
Yeah.
I'm certain that every one of our listeners does that.
Yeah.
Do you second guess yourself some days? Do you do things with the best intentions?
Yeah.
And you know you're doing the right thing because you can feel that.
Yeah.
And you know, look, I've said that before. I say it again, and then people often do remind me. They go, yes, Vince, but not everybody is as aware. And that's what it comes back to. It's self-awareness.
Yeah.
How do you operate? How do you treat those around you? What are your intentions with the decisions you make? Do you do it with the right intention?
Yeah.
And do you know what the expectation is?
Yeah, so I am getting myself out of this rut because
I think this episode's going to get a lot of people out of the rut.
No, it is getting me out because I do know that I do it from the right place.
Exactly.
In my heart.
And that's one of the things that I think I've preached a lot in the last, how many episodes have we done? Exactly. But I preach it a lot. It's the idea of like, stop caring what they think.
Yeah.
Stop thinking that they care.
Yeah.
In the sense of not that they don't care about you, but people aren't thinking about us or other people or yourself as often as you think.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We have this sort of level of narcissism within ourselves that goes, well, I'm thinking about it so much, they must be thinking about it too.
Yeah.
But they're not. People just go live their lives.
Yeah.
People just go off and go about their day. And that's okay too. And that's perfectly okay because that's where I go, well, that's not my person.
Yeah.
I need to shake that off. I need to move forward and continue my path, whatever that is. What am I pursuing in myself, externally, in my mind, in my heart, with the friendships, the relationships, not just friendships, with all the relationships around me. Which ones do I need to nurture on every level? The closest ones versus the satellite ones or the network ones. I talked about relationships a little bit last week on one of my vibe checks. You got your generic relationships, your seasonal relationships, and your destiny relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you're a destiny relationship.
What is that? What do you mean? Like
You're
I'm there for the long haul?
Destiny.
Yeah.
That's why when we met, immediately we clicked.
Yeah.
5 years before we even got on stage together, we were still working together.
Yeah.
Backstage at the show there.
Yeah.
The impact that you had on me was profound as a professional. Doing you were my idol that I looked up to. I looked up to you and PJ there on the stage. And there are things that I take from both of you, but the things that I really recognize, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were not seasonal. You're still here 20 years later.
Yeah.
Versus some that have come and gone in 6 weeks, 6 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you go, well, what can we nurture? Somebody said the other day, it's Glennon Doyle. That's what I'm thinking of. Glennon Doyle does this great thing where people go, when you show up in the world and you question yourself and you doubt yourself and you go, what do I think? Number one, the only person who actually needs to care about what you think about yourself
is you,
right? Number one. But then put a little card in your pocket, just a business card, and write 6 people. And it might be your mum, your dad, your partner, your children, right? If they're the people that matter to you about how you show up in the world, or they're the people that you care about what they think about you, that's it. Yeah. Just those 6 people. If they're not on the card, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them.
Yeah. We touched on this, I know. We touched on this a little bit. It's all coming back to me now, and now so many things are falling into place with my mood. We touched on this with the Jodie Oddie episode.
Yes.
And now it's all coming back to me why my mood is, because we've just recently had Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of it is stemming from. And I remember talking about it on the Jodie episode about God, I didn't expect this to go here today. When losing Dad, silence from then on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms of Dad was very vocal in his support of me and what I did and all of that. And so when I lost Dad and there was silence, now when I hear something or read something, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting a little bit of Dad, because Dad would verbalize it. So I think this is where it's all stemming from as well. So I think we've just gone through Father's Day. And you know what? 30, I don't even know now. What are we? 30, what was 1988? How many years ago?
Oh, okay. So I'm 36 years ago.
Yeah. So when we lost Dad 36 years ago, it's funny how, yes, time heals, you move on and whatever, but for 36 years, I still look for those little pockets
those glimmers
of acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And
because it's more than acknowledgement.
Because it means a lot more to me. It's
like your dad talking to you still.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, wow, didn't expect this at all. But while you've been talking and like you were talking about getting the acknowledgement from your kids and a thank you and whatever, there was another message I got recently after, some work, an event we did together.
Yeah.
And I've got to call them out, and I shouldn't have to, but I don't know, it means something to me. And I also, you know what, if it's giving them a moment to realise what their message did for me, you know what, I know that you're listening because you have been there from day one, these supporters that I'm calling out. And this is another listener and relative of mine. Her name goes Anna S. You know who you are. She wrote, I'm just so extremely proud of you, Nancy. Love you. You always walk the walk and talk the talk, and I watch every podcast and feel as proud as though it's one of my kids doing the show. Keep being you. Woo. And I feel like you have finally found your way in how you touch everyone with your beautiful personality. You are so relatable and so real, and I still feel like we're hanging out together like back in the day. I'm really hoping I can make it next time, because she couldn't make an event we recently were at. Yeah. But I'm just like, wow. Amazing.
And you don't always see the impact you make.
Yeah, I know. And I think, you just like today, one of those days, maybe I'm just questioning. And so, I'm just remembering, I'm going back, I'm getting myself by talking to you, by talking out loud, by revisiting some messages. It's already, that's why it's very important. We speak about it all the time. Talk.
Well, when you got here today.
Yes.
You said I got too many things. And I said, well, let's get that spaghetti bowl of thoughts. Right?
You said, let's stretch out the spaghetti.
Well, I say it to everyone when people walk in here for their sessions with me, or if we're on site or whatever we're doing. I want to help take that cluster of thoughts, which I like to visually represent as spaghetti, because wog.
Is it gluten-free?
Can be. Can be. No.
I know.
But I like the idea of taking that cluster, right? All those intertwined moments and thoughts and feelings that we have, and just consider one at a time. So let's take a noodle, a little spaghetti.
Yep.
And we're going to lie down here. We're going to talk about that. We'll work our way through. Yep. And what you do find when you do that, and hopefully you have someone who can be supportive and listening and relating, which is what I try to be, not just for you, but everyone. And you're the same. You're exactly the same. So I can say it like I do it, but you do it too. This is you too, Nance. You listen, you empathize, you help problem solve. And that can be overwhelming. I said it on the weekend to Joy. I was like, I'm just sick of coming up with solutions for everyone around me. And that can be a really confronting thing for someone who is in a position of care and a position of giving when you want to be in service to people. But I guess it goes back to what you said at the very beginning of the episode, where sometimes it'd just be nice to...
I know.
To not...
I know. To not always sort of, I don't know, not to...
To be the go-to.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I love being the go-to because I also take that with such pride and honour because I'm like, I know I can do this.
Yep.
I know I can see calmly through chaos.
Yep.
I know I can objectively see and empathise with multiple perspectives and make the best decision for myself, for others.
And for others, yeah.
Or at least to guide. Never to make a choice for another person, but to guide.
That's right. You are in charge of your own decision making.
That's
but
it.
like reading out those couple of messages today, that did really help me. And even today, a week or two later, I'm referring back to those messages. So thank you very much. Also, just want to say thank you to everyone that's been jumping on and voting for us.
Oh my God, we haven't even talked about it because I was in such a mood.
I know, see, but now I'm just coming to realise, but, if we haven't shouted you out or reposted you or whatever, sorry. And I don't know if there is that expectation because we started and whatever. I think I just get excited. But there's been quite a few come through that sometimes we can't keep up. But you have no idea what putting your vote to us does for us.
We are talking about the Australian Podcast
Yeah,
Awards.
the Australian Podcast.
Not just a general vote.
No. The Listener's Choice Awards.
Yes.
The Australian Podcast Awards are coming up. We are up for Listener's Choice Award, and where there's no hope in hell we can get there without your help.
No, absolutely not. So what that means is we need you to jump into the link in our bio. It's going to take you straight there.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can visit australianpodcastawards.com/voting. It'll come up with a search bar.
Just go to the link in the bio. So much easier.
Either way. I don't know. If you're just driving or, you might have seen QR codes. We've put a couple of QR codes out too. But what I recommend you do is get in there, search Livin. We will pop up. You'll see our little faces, our little photo that you already know and love. Mm-hmm. Click that.
Yep.
Enter your details. You will get an email. This is the only part that is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
It's not tricky if you follow, but you're going to get an email. It might go to your junk mail, but they will send you an email confirming your vote. Your vote doesn't count
unless you confirm your
you confirm the email in the email. So please look out for that email. I know it's an extra step. I know it's frustrating. I will speak to them at one point about this because trust me, my marketing brain and the way that I work online, I look at that and I go, why are we making this so hard?
And can I just say another thing that people probably think they voted and they haven't.
Yeah.
And I had it with some people on the weekend that were showing me. Again, when you're voting, the submit button, if that's blue, that's actually not correct because it has to be orange when you're hitting submit. Yeah, because you have to accept the terms and conditions.
Oh, yes. No, you're absolutely right. Yes.
For some reason, it doesn't always scroll up. So you just have to scroll your finger up and down. It's like, oh my God, brain surgery. You've got to click that box and then the submit button will turn orange. You click submit, then go to your inbox of that email address that you've put in. Then you can confirm your vote.
That's when the vote gets cast. We've made it sound way worse.
I know, but it's pretty,
It's cumbersome.
But you know what?
It's worth it though, because you can put us up there on that platform. We are already on so many platforms, which is great, and our audience is growing. Keep following, keep subscribing on all of our platforms. If you download the episodes too, that does great things for our status in the charts. It actually moves us around in the podcast charts and gets us a bit more visibility within some of these bigger networks. So for your vote, make sure you head over to Australian Podcast Awards, please.
Because if you know us, if we succeed, you are coming with us.
Hello.
Because we do call out in a room of opportunity.
Always.
We do mention your name. And especially for those ones that have been with us from day one.
100%. 100%.
The more we succeed, you succeed.
We succeed. It's a community.
Absolutely.
It's a full team here. There's no I in
Yep.
team. And I'll tell you
Yep.
what, we've said it once before. You want to go fast, go alone.
Yep.
You want to go far, go together.
That's right.
That's what we'll do.
That's it.
Let's
Together.
go together.
Let's go.
Guys, have a fantastic week. I hope if you're in a bad mood, get out of it.
Get out of it.
Come and have a chat with us.
Yes.
Listen to this episode. Think about what we've said. Hopefully it helps you. And if you do find yourself in a bad mood another day, jump back to this episode.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Have a great day.
Bye. Oh, what a funny thing to say. Sing it, Tones.
But your mama always said,
Amazing.
Look up in the sky.
Different mood now.
Yeah, sun's out now.
Yep.
cloudy,